monitor all my pictures once they were taken. If I saw like a picture that was taken with a red Solo cup, I became very aware of those kinds of things so that I knew how to present myself to the best of my abilities and have a good social presence. And that's something that I know has affected a lot of our chapter members, and just making sure, I'm representing my values not only outside of the community but also in the social world where people can see me on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. And then we know that academics, careers, and professional integrity is not just with your grades, and it's not just with what career choice you choose. When you're out in the field, when say you become a doctor, and you have patients day in, day out, when you get done with work, you're going to be tired and not want to focus on just your patients, or it's just going to become super stressful. Or if you're an accountant, you're not going to want to focus on the numbers. And so we know that it's important to have outlets, and that's something that we've really been focused on through our chapter. What we do is we have sisterhood events at least once a week, and what we try and do is have yoga, Zumba, different activities that people can get involved in to release endorphins, release stress, and I found it to be really beneficial. It really taught me how to manage my time, and I know a lot of my sorority sisters have enjoyed doing that. So we would just like to end with scholarship is our highest aim, and that is one of our key values that we try to live by and try to integrate in almost everything we do.
Awesome. Thank you.
Thanks.
Questions?
So how do you evaluate everything that you're doing? So you're doing a lot of things, you have a lot of things laid out. How do you know if they're working or if they're not working?
So one of the highest awards that a chapter in Theta can get is called the Golden Kite. And so what we've been doing this whole year and past years is working on these Golden Kite expectations. It's something that all of our exec at the beginning of the year sits down and says, okay, so we need to do this, this, and this, and make sure that we're documenting it throughout the year so that at the end of the year, we can try and win this Golden Kite. So what we've been doing, and I know I myself am on cabinet, so all of our exec has really been pushing all of our officers to really constantly look at our Golden Kite plan, look at what we're striving to do, and then come back and reflect on that and document everything so that at the end of the year we can have a really strong application for the Golden Kite.
To also make sure that our chapter members are satisfied with what we've been doing, I know that when I was in charge of recruitment a couple years ago, and what I did is I sent a survey at the end of my term saying what things do we need to improve on, and I know that's something that we've been trying to incorporate in other people's exec positions, so maybe that's something that we need to work on a little bit more, but definitely the Golden Kite has been something that we've been proven at our when we have our grand convention. We've been shown to have very high goals for ourselves and achieve them pretty closely.
Okay, so what you're saying is, so the academic mentoring program is tied into
Golden Kite.
Golden Kite.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So when you're applying for Golden Kite recognition, if I'm saying that correctly,
Yeah.
you demonstrate how your academic mentoring program
Has
is
benefited.
working.
Right. And so basically what happens is the Golden Kite is broken down into our key values, and then they list a couple of questions underneath of what do you strive to do, how are you going to do it, your plan of how you're approaching it, and then the last question is how did you do that after a year's time or whatever the time period is, and then you have to list the different things and make sure that they kind of check off in regard to what your plan was, and if they don't, you have to say, why didn't I do this? Or if you tried something and found it not to be effective, you also have to list that so that you can show, I've documented all the things and we've tested some things, those have worked, some things haven't worked. And that's something that I know that when I was on exec we did, and I know that the years afterwards we've been trying to follow pretty closely.
Okay. And how many members are in your chapter?
A total of 114 right now because of the new numbers.
Are you all familiar with the Theta benchmarks? Excellence, distinction. Okay. Can you just? Oh, sorry.
No, it's okay.
Did you have an idea of which benchmark you were going for in the scholarship pillar?
They told us to present and
I think I heard someone saying go for the second highest?
Distinction?
I believe so.
Okay.
So I'm assuming you don't know what they mean or the description of each achievement level is?
I know
think
it.
so.
Okay.
I read it, but I didn't.
Okay. All right. Cool.
Okay. I don't think I have any other questions. I think the one thing that just kind of stood out, and I'm just giving you feedback, is the idea of study hours, the idea that if you have a 4.0, there's no requirement for you.
Right,
Just
and
a fundamental problem with that, saying, no, not sure you're sending the right message, because if you have a 3.8, or if you have a 3.5, and then maybe they have to do, I think the idea that if you're trying to create this culture of scholarship, is that, you really want to show the sister who maybe has that 2.5, like, hey, we're modeling
right.
the behaviors that we would like. So even our best students are.
Well, and I know that our best students will go to study hours anyway. And I know that many people will go over and above and beyond their requirements for study hours just because it's something that we do as part of our daily routine or something like
It's
that.
kind of like how I've perceived it when I've been the person that always wins the most study hours, and I don't need study hours, and it's kind of it's just I enjoy doing it because I can hang out with my sisters, I can talk to people that need help on different classes, especially classes that I've had, and I think that a lot of our members just enjoy going to because they like to have the company of their sisters around, and it's kind of just you attend, you can have people there to help you. You may not always have someone that's there in your major, but it's not something that's supposed to, you're not supposed to be restricted to a certain number.
Good. Okay.
So under intellectual development, and I guess throughout the whole presentation, you've all talked a lot about academic achievement. That's obviously very important to your chapter, and a lot of career development. Is there any way else in which you're stimulating intellectual growth in your sisters?
So we can also get points for people going to presentations outside of what their major requirements are. I know that a lot of people like to attend. Global Ethical Leaders has a lot of different presentations in regard to when Dr. Dennis Mukwege came, you got a scholarship point for attending that. If there was also a GELS, I just know about GELS specifically because I'm on it, but it was there was one about Turkey and what was going on in Turkey last year, and if you went to that, I know a lot of our members attended, you got a scholarship point. It also encourages you to attend the Academic Integrity Board meeting. If you went, you could get a point, things like that. So we always make sure that people know that these things are available. We just created this year, because before we would just make announcements in chapter about, this event is going on, but we made it so that it's listed in our calendar for the week, so that people can always be reminded of these things being available to them, and so then they can see things that are not only focused on their career, but things that are outside globally and dealing with academics and the career. So it's not just focused on what they want to achieve, but opening their horizons.
Okay. I like that. Public calendars with lots of events on them are pretty great.
Yeah.